Ever feel like you're stuck in a goal-setting rut? You're ambitious, you set these great goals, but then nothing.
Yeah, I've been there.
It's so frustrating.
Definitely.
So today we are diving into a book that might just change the way we think about achieving, well, anything.
Oh, sounds interesting.
It's called Starting with Action by Jun Ishida.
I've heard of him. He's a leading behavioral scientist, right?
Exactly. And he basically throws out the whole motivation is key idea.
Really?
Yeah. He says it's not about psyching yourself up, it's about changing your actions first.
Okay, wait. So instead of you know, trying to motivate myself to go to the gym every day,
Mm-hmm.
I should start going.
Pretty much. It sounds counterintuitive, but Ishida uses a pretty classic example to explain it.
I'm listening.
Think about the marshmallow experiment, where kids choose between one marshmallow now or two later.
Oh, yeah, the willpower test.
Right. Everyone thinks it's about the kids who waited having stronger willpower.
And that predicts their success later in life, supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah, but Ishida points out that those kids weren't just sitting there like white-knuckling it.
I never thought about it that way.
They were actually doing things to make waiting easier, like covering their eyes, playing with their hair, turning away from the marshmallow.
Huh. So they weren't just relying on some inner strength.
Nope. It was about strategic actions, setting themselves up for success.
That is so interesting. It completely reframes the whole experiment.
Totally. And that's a big part of Ishida's framework for achieving goals.
So he's not just saying, forget willpower, good luck.
No, not at all. He actually lays out 3 really clear principles for setting goals that actually lead to action.
Okay, I'm ready. Principle number 1.
You've got to match your goal to your current abilities.
Oh, so don't aim for a marathon if you haven't even jogged around the block.
Exactly. So many people set these huge goals and then get overwhelmed and give up.
Makes sense. So if I want to, say, write an article a day, maybe I should start with 1 a week.
Exactly. Small wins build momentum.
I like that. Okay, what's principle number 2?
Make sure the goal is truly yours.
What do you mean by that?
It can't be something you feel pressured to do because of what others expect or some societal ideal.
So losing weight for your health versus losing weight because of magazine covers?
Exactly. If the motivation isn't genuine, it's going to be way harder to stick with it.
Oh, that is so true. I think I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes, setting goals based on what I should be doing.
Oh, yeah, me too. It's like we need to check in with ourselves and ask, is this really what I want?
Absolutely. Self-awareness is key.
Okay, so we've got our goals matched to our abilities, and we're making sure they're actually our goals.
What's the third principle?
Keep it small and actionable. Like instead of saying, I want to read more books, what if you said, I'll read 10 pages every night before bed?
Oh, I see. It's less overwhelming and more specific.
Right, and it actually tells you what to do, which makes it easier to actually take action.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got our goals set up for success, but what happens when we face setbacks?
Oh, yeah, because those are inevitable.
Totally. How do we keep from just spiraling into self-criticism and giving up?
That's where Ishida's live broadcasting technique comes in, and it's honestly brilliant.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Imagine you're a sports commentator, just describing the game.
Sticking to the facts, no judgments.
Exactly. So when you experience a setback, you put on your sports commentator hat.
So if I'm trying to eat healthier, but I have a huge slice of cake, instead of saying, ugh, I have no willpower, I've ruined everything.
Yeah, that's the usual reaction.
I would say something like, okay, at 7 p.m. a slice of cake was presented, I ate the cake. At 7:15, I felt satisfied.
Right, it takes the emotion out of it. You're just observing and reporting.
It's kind of calming, actually. Just hearing you say it makes me feel less stressed about messing up.
And it lets you analyze the situation without all the guilt and shame.
It's like maybe I realized I was actually hungry,
Yep.
or that being around certain people makes me want to overeat.
Yeah, you're turning the setback into information.
Okay, so we've got our goals set up, and we have a tool for dealing with setbacks.
Right.
But what about making those actions stick long term?
Yeah, how do we turn them into sustainable habits?
Ishida actually has 2 more techniques for that. The ABC method and eliminate the non-essentials.
Okay, we're going to dive into those right after this.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back and ready to hear about those other techniques for making change stick.
Right, the ABC method and eliminate the non-essentials.
Let's start with ABC. What is that all about?
So it helps you break down any action, any habit, into 3 parts. The antecedent, the behavior itself, and the consequence.
Antecedent. That sounds fancy.
It's just a fancy word for trigger, like what happens right before the behavior.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I want to stop snacking, I'd figure out, like, why am I snacking? What's triggering it?
Exactly. So let's say your trigger, the antecedent, is walking past the pantry and seeing a bag of chips.
Oh, yeah, been there.
The behavior is grabbing a handful or two, and then the consequence might be feeling guilty or sluggish afterward.
Okay, so then how do I change it?
You can change the antecedent, like move the chips so they're not right in your face when you walk by.
So out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. Or you can change the consequence.
So instead of feeling guilty after snacking, I like reward myself for choosing a healthier snack.
You could. Or maybe you make sure to have some healthy snacks right there in the pantry, easy to grab.
I like that. It's like you're setting yourself up for success.
Right. You're kind of outsmarting your own bad habits.
Okay, so ABC method, check. What about that other one, eliminate the non-essentials? That sounds a little scary.
I know, it could feel intimidating, but it's really about being intentional with your time and energy.
So less is more.
In a way, yeah. Think of it like a garden. You can't grow beautiful flowers if you're constantly weeding and watering plants that don't even bring you joy.
Okay, I'm liking this analogy, but how do I know what to weed out in my own life? What's truly essential?
That's the key question. And it really depends on your own values and goals.
Right, so there's no one-size-fits-all answer here.
No, definitely not. What's essential for one person might be totally draining for someone else.
So it's all about self-awareness, figuring out what's truly important to me.
Yes. Ask yourself, what tasks or activities just drain my energy? What commitments am I holding on to just out of obligation, not real interest? What's cluttering up my space, my calendar, even my mental bandwidth?
Those are great questions. It's like decluttering your whole life, not just your closet.
Exactly. And it frees up so much time and energy to focus on the things that actually matter.
This is resonating with me so much. It's like giving yourself permission to say no to things that don't align with your goals.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels authentic to you.
Okay, so we've talked about these techniques for individual change, but could they also apply to like groups or teams?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine a team that's constantly missing deadlines.
Oof, yeah, been there.
They could use these same principles. Figure out what non-essential tasks are bogging them down, or use the ABC method to see why they're getting off track.
So maybe there's a communication breakdown that's always leading to delays, and they can figure out how to fix that.
Exactly. It's like giving them a whole new set of tools to work with.
I love that. So this framework isn't just for personal growth, it's for teams, organizations, maybe even families.
That's the power of behavioral science.
Mm.
It's not just about understanding why we do what we do. It's about using that understanding to create real change.
I'm so impressed with this whole approach. I feel like I have a completely new way of looking at goal setting now.
It is a pretty different perspective, isn't it?
What stands out to you as the most impactful takeaway from all this?
It's the reminder that we're not just victims of our circumstances or our willpower.
Oh, that's good.
We can actually choose to be in control of our actions, to shape our lives.
I love that. It's so empowering. We're not just hoping for things to change, we're actively making it happen.
Exactly. And it's not about some overnight transformation. It's about the small, consistent actions we take day after day.
Those small steps add up.
They do. And as you start to see those small wins, it fuels your motivation to keep going.
It's like a snowball effect, right?
Exactly. Now, we've talked a lot about the how-to of all this, but there's another piece that Ishida highlights that I think is crucial.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Self-awareness. Before we can even start setting effective goals, we need to understand ourselves.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's like trying to drive somewhere without a map. You need to know where you are and where you want to go.
Precisely. Self-awareness is the foundation for everything.
It's like that saying, know thyself, but for achieving your goals, I'm really starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It is a fascinating framework, isn't it? It takes something abstract, self-management, and turns it into concrete tools and strategies.
It does, and it's so refreshing because so much of the self-improvement stuff out there feels, I don't know, fluffy and vague.
I know what you mean.
But this is about taking action, not just thinking about it.
And remember, action often comes before motivation.
Yeah, you might not feel like hitting the gym, but once you start moving, the motivation kicks in.
Exactly. It's that old saying, appetite comes with eating. The more you do, the more you want to do.
I like that. So this whole conversation has been like a masterclass in turning intention into action.
That's a great way to put it.
I tend to get stuck in the planning stage, but this is really pushing me to take those first steps.
That's where so many of us stumble. We get caught in that someday I'll mindset, and then life just passes us by.
But Ishida's saying, don't wait, start now, even if it's a tiny step.
Right. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, but those aren't failures. They're opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah, like if you slip up on your diet, don't beat yourself up. Use that live broadcasting technique. Figure out what you can learn from it.
Exactly. Turn those setbacks into data points.
It's not, I messed up. It's, okay, how can I do better next time?
Exactly. It's a mindset shift.
This deep dive has been amazing. It's not just a book summary, it's a call to action. What action will you take after listening to this?
Oh, that's a great question.
What's one small step, even a tiny one, that you can take today?
I think I'll finally sign up for that online course I've been putting off.
Yes, that's perfect. See, you're already taking action.
I am. And it feels good.
It does, right. And maybe someone else listening is inspired to finally clean out that junk drawer.
Or call that friend they've been meaning to catch up with.
Or just take 5 minutes to do some deep breathing exercises.
It doesn't matter how small it is, just take that first step.
Because that's what Ishida is all about.
It is. He's saying don't wait for motivation, just act.
And then the motivation will follow, like magic.
Well, not magic exactly, but it often feels that way.
It does. This whole deep dive has really shifted my perspective. You know, it's like I have permission to stop overthinking everything and just start doing.
I get that. And remember, it's a journey, not a race. There will be times when you fall off track, but those aren't failures.
Right, they're just data points.
They are. They're opportunities to learn and grow.
So like if I miss a workout or eat a whole bag of chips, I don't have to spiral into self-hatred.
Nope. Put on your sports commentator hat.
Exactly. Just observe, analyze, and adjust.
And remember, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
We're all works in progress, right?
Absolutely. This has been such an inspiring conversation. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
That's a tough one. I think for me, it's the reminder that we have more control than we think.
I like that.
We're not just at the mercy of our willpower or our circumstances.
We can choose to take action to create the lives we want.
Exactly. And that starts with self-awareness. Knowing ourselves, our values, our triggers, what truly motivates us.
Right. That's the foundation for everything.
It is. It's like having a roadmap for your life.
I love that analogy. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what final thought would you leave our listeners with?
Don't wait for someday. Start today. Take one small step towards a goal that truly matters to you. And remember, action creates motivation, so just get started, even if it feels a little scary. You've got this.
I love that. So much wisdom packed into this episode. Thank you for this incredible deep dive. It's been truly transformative.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And to all our listeners out there, we hope you're feeling inspired to take action. Remember, even the smallest step can lead to amazing things. Until next time, happy acting.